What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Maxwell, and today we're going to be watching 10 strange things that are going on in the world right now. Pretty much what are happening, and wanted to do this video because I thought it's interesting. I want to learn a little more about the world because I personally don't know too much. I don't think anybody does, but if you haven't already, follow me on my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat. You can email me if you have any video suggestions. Let's get to it.
Humans have made amazing strides when it comes to science and knowing how the world works. But do we know everything? Of course not. What makes life truly interesting is that we haven't figured out everything yet. There are still puzzles to solve and mysteries to unfold when it comes to our Earth. From weird issues with nature to mysterious happenings all over the world, we're unsure of whether we should be intrigued or unsettled. Stick around until the end to find out what Earth-centric mystery has us looking to the sky for answers. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to The Riches by clicking on that red subscribe button. While you're in the click-happy mood, go ahead and give this video a like. Now, here are 10 mysterious things happening in the world right now. One could call it a discovery. Others might call this a mystery. As humans who have studied and researched science and have learned so much about how our world works, finding something that breaks the rules is a rather mysterious adventure. In February 2019, it was announced that scientists recently discovered a new type of magnet.
Really?
This type of magnet shouldn't be able to exist, and yet it does. Researchers have already decided what the new magnet could be useful for, and it is shown to be useful for data storage. This magnet is made from a uranium compound that seems to follow its own rules. Normal magnets work in a way where constituents are attracted to each other. This new magnet is singlet-based, where the fields pop in and out of existence, creating an unstable force. Usually, singlet magnets have fields that are locked down by a particle, and therefore shouldn't be able to magnetize. But now it seems that they can. What does the discovery of this new magnet mean? Does it mean that it's always been there and we just haven't noticed? Or does it mean that the world around us is changing?
Probably the world around us is
Probably
changing.
one of the most concerning mysteries around at the moment. It seems that animals are losing their lives in masses, and scientists aren't sure why it's happening. One lost animal isn't enough to set off alarms, but when hundreds of animals start turning up lifeless, scientists and the general community have started showing concern. In August 2018, an abnormal amount of seals started washing up on shore in the northern part of New England. It's normal to see some animal bodies wash up, but nothing to this level. Most of the 400 lifeless seals ended up on the beaches in Maine over a 3-week period. One of the seals tested positive for the bird flu, which is one of the most dangerous illnesses to hit the world. In 2017, thousands of Manhattan fish washed up with no sign of a cause of passing. In February 2017, over 300 whales beached themselves on the coast of New Zealand. Another 100 whales were left stranded on the beach as well because no one could get them back into the water.
That's a lot of whales.
To continue with the issue of losing animals in the masses, there are also weird smells to be handled. Yep, that's right, weird smells. Many people in different cities have been experiencing phantom smells. Usually, when one experiences a phantom smell, it means that there could be something neurological going on in the brain. Some people experience phantom smells before they get a migraine. Phantom smells could even be a sign of a stroke or seizure. So, when it happens to one person, then it's likely explainable. But what happens when it's an entire city experiencing a phantom smell? In October 2018, the Great Stink of London Part 2 occurred when millions of residents smelled a foul odor near Wapping and surrounding area. It smelled like chemicals such as chlorine and battery acid. Dr. Thomas Smith had a laser egg on the roof that was tracking the air quality. It started going off as unhealthy when the stink was going on. He thought that the stench might have been coming from Europe, from some sort of industrial site. But the origin of the smell continues to remain a mystery. A similar incident happened in Salt Lake City, Utah, except their stink was more like sewage. Plus, the issue is more ongoing. For our next point of interest, let's look at this ocean, or should we say oceans. What's going on here? It looks like two oceans are meeting, but can't combine. To those with an untrained eye, it definitely looks like something from a science fiction film. How often do we get to see something that dramatic? This photo in particular has been making the rounds on the internet for a few years under different titles. This photo is certainly mysterious, and internet detectives have been trying their best to solve the query. The photo has been known as Where the Baltic and North Sea Meet, along with other names. But the photo was actually taken in the Gulf of Alaska in 2007 by a man named Kent Smith while he was on a
Ship shoppers handpick and deliver your favorite products, like brie and a freshly baked baguette. A little magic for date night.
on a cruise with oceanographers studying what role iron plays in the Gulf of Alaska. It first appeared on the web in 2010. Before we start freaking out about biblical changes to the ocean, this one can thankfully be explained. The effect is caused by slow-moving currents known as eddies. These eddies are known to carry a lot of glacial sediment, which can cause the dramatic color difference. So, it seems our oceans are not splitting down the middle yet, and we can rest easy, for now. If earthquakes make you nervous,
What's
then
going
resting
on?
easy is far from your mind. Rumor has it that the big one could hit California at any time. If you want to look at it another way, earthquakes can be a good thing because they relieve pressure in tectonic plates. But there is still such a thing as abnormal earthquakes.
I never thought earthquakes were good. I thought they were always
On
bad.
November 11th,
So I don't believe it.
2018, a strange rumble went around the world. It started at the island of Mayotte, which is a French island sandwiched between Africa and the northern tip of Madagascar. The ripples seemed to happen about 15 minutes offshore from the island. The waves kept passing through Africa and made their way around the world to places like China and Canada. The waves lasted for about 20 minutes. Seismic readings showed that the rumble traveled at least 11,000 miles. But the craziest part about it is that no human could feel them. Those who follow earthquakes and seismic waves around the world saw the abnormal reading and wondered if there was a volcanic eruption or some sort of meteorite strike. Today, it still remains a mystery. When we're not being plagued by weird smells and earthquakes, we still have the concern with odd sounds. Sound is carried through by waves and air. Our ears pick up the sound vibrations, causing us to hear them. With this in mind, it means that the sounds have to have some sort of origin. Unless you're trying to track sounds from outer space, where an origin is hard to trace. So not being able to find the source on Earth is kind of disturbing. Back in 1991, NOAA picked up a rather unusual sound in the ocean that has since been called the upsweep. This sound is composed of a long train of noises that sound similar to a howl. It was first picked up by NOAA's autonomous hydrophone arrays. Many scientists have theorized that perhaps it is the result of an undersea volcano, but there isn't enough evidence to confirm this. The sound varies from year to year, and it seems to peak between autumn and spring, again with no explanation. There are also weird sounds happening in the sky known as skyquakes. They are sometimes heard near water. While some can be explained by military planes, others cannot. Skyquakes have been heard as early as 1824. Another mysterious thing that has been happening is balls of lightning. We're not talking about those gentle-looking will-o'-the-wisps that you might see in the forest occasionally. We're talking about an illuminated ball with lightning coming out of it. Sure, it sounds like something from anime or some sort of adventure movie, but this is the real deal. This phenomenon has been spotted all over the world, and it has even been known to travel through buildings. Once the ball passes, it leaves a smell of sulfur in its wake. This sounds like something we need to call on the Winchester brothers for. These balls of lightning usually last between 1 second to a full minute. It's hard to gauge exactly what causes this phenomenon, but scientists have taken an interest and they're trying to figure out what it is.
There's some weird stuff in the world, guys.
Is that it seems to move with intent, like there's some consciousness controlling it. One sighting dates back to 1984, when one of these balls entered a Russian plane. It flew over the passengers' heads and left 2 holes when it disappeared.
How did you never know that?
We see every day. So what's so weird about them? For cloud watchers, seeing all sorts of different clouds is just part of the territory. Some clouds can also give warning to dangerous weather, like tornadoes. Chances are that if you've seen a morning glory cloud, you might think that it's masking some sort of UFO activity. This cloud formation is a rare event, and scientists don't know what to make of it. While we have figured out what makes other clouds tick, it's hard to figure out what makes the morning glory cloud look the way it does. We know it's an Arcus cloud, but that's about it. It usually appears low to the ground, and it can go on unbroken for 1,000 miles. Strong
Wow.
winds can sometimes accompany morning glory clouds, and they are unpredictable in nature. In Australia, it seems they are regularly treated to this cloud's presence for a few months out of the year, and it has to be after dawn. However, you can only see it in Burketown in Queensland, which is fairly remote. Speaking of remote, in a small village in Poland, there are trees that are growing in the most unnatural ways. Near the village of Gryfino, there is a grove of pine trees that don't look like your traditional tree. They basically look like warped versions of themselves, almost like a Van Gogh painting. The area has been named the Crooked Forest. Each tree looks like it was bent at the base to make a C shape. It's hard to tell what caused this. Being able to manipulate the growth of trees isn't uncommon in more metropolitan areas, where the look is more aesthetic. What makes the case even more bizarre is that the Crooked Forest is surrounded by straight trees. So why this particular spot? It's believed that these trees were planted in the
Alright, y'all, I'm in that video there. I'm getting bored. I'm shocked I cannot finish a video, but this one has got me like, oh gosh, I can't take it no more. But I'm gonna try to stick through the last 2 minutes, but I'm not gonna stop the video there. I'm gonna try. Oh, we're almost done.
1930s, and that they were anywhere between 7 to 10 years old when the 90-degree curve started forming. There are a few theories to try to explain this phenomenon. Some believe they were formed from heavy snow in the area, while others think it's from Earth's gravitational pull. It's hard to pinpoint exactly, which is why the mystery continues. Finally, we need to look to the sky again for this strange mystery that continues to make an appearance in a remote area of Norway. The Hessdalen Lights can be seen on a 7.5-mile stretch of the Hessdalen Valley. The crazy thing about them is that they can appear both day and night. They seem to hover over the valley as if they are waiting for something or someone. These lights can form in different shapes, including helices. If you ever have a chance to see these lights in person, you might notice that they mainly take the form of balls, and then they look like they're spitting out smaller balls. These can't be explained by headlights of a plane or cars. Scientists have a theory that it could be a phenomenon called Coulomb crystals. These are crystals formed in plasma. The process of creating them is a bit unsettling, as they think it's coming from the radiation on the rocks and then floating up into the atmosphere. This is the radiation that can cause health problems like cancer. So maybe you shouldn't check these lights out after all. What do you think of these 10 mysterious things happening in the world right now? Do you know how to explain these mysteries?
Nope.
Sound off in the comments. And before you head off to your
I
next
don't.
adventure, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and take a peek at our community page.
Alright. Well, that'll end the video there. I'm sorry I said I'd end the video earlier, but I really was bored though. I was gonna end it early, but I decided since we had like a minute and a half left, we'll finish. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like, because the more likes, the better. And make sure you guys have a great day. Always stay humble. Do what God wants you to do, and you'll be fine. I love you guys. Have a great day.